Welcome back to Biodiversity and Conservation. We are continuing the next part, which is called as causes of biodiversity loss. Now we are studying about the loss of the biodiversity and the causes for loss of the biodiversity. In this session, we are going to study regarding the four major causes, where we also call them the evil cortrates. That means these are the major reasons by which there is a loss of biodiversity. So let's look at them one after the other. Now the first one is habitat loss and fragmentation. The first one is habitat loss and fragmentation. Second one is over exploitation. Third one is alien species invasions, and fourth one is co-extinctions. So fourth one is co-extinctions. So this is regarding the four evil quadrate for the loss of biodiversity. Now when we say loss of biodiversity, loss means it is a total loss. Now it can be regained back. Suppose if the loss is in minimal rate, and it cannot be regained back if the loss is in major aspect. Okay, now in the first one, let us look at them. Habitat loss and fragmentation is the first one. Then second one is over exploitation by the humans. Third is alien species, foreign species invasion. Co-extinctions means extinction together, death together. So they will vanish together. So this is regarding the four major evil quadrants for the loss of biodiversity, and this is the major part of biodiversity and conservation. So we are concentrating on the part of loss of biodiversity, mainly the causes for loss of biodiversity. Now let's look at them one after the another. The first thing that we come across here is regarding the habitat loss and fragmentation. So the first part that we come across is habitat loss and fragmentation. Now regarding the habitat loss and fragmentation, this is the most important cause, which is the driving force for the loss of plants and animals. Now, as we say, habitat loss and fragmentation, habitat is the natural area or the nature in which majority of the organisms are present. So what is our habitat? Our habitat is our home. Our native place is our home. We call this as our habitat, where we reside, where in which we are present. But what is the habitat of the wildlife? Wildlife is the nature. They are present in the forest. They may be present in the oceans. They might be present in the snowfall regions also, or in the polar regions also. So when the habitat is lost, then it leads to fragmentation of the organisms. That means almost, if we take an example, in the tropical areas around, earlier in the tropical areas, the forest covered was very huge. That means in the tropical rainforest, it covered around 14% of the forest. Okay, look at this. The tropical rainforest, it was consisting of around 14% of the Earth's land surface. Now it does not cover no more than 6%. That means we have lost our biodiversity. We have lost majority of the forest plants due to activity of the humans. So that's why the tropical rainforest, which was covering around 14% of the total land area, now it is no more than 6%. That means look at the reduction that has taken place. This is what is called as a habitat loss. Okay, then apart from this, suppose if we come across the biggest forest in the world. Which is the biggest forest in the world? Yes, the Amazon rainforest. Now this Amazon rainforest, This is commonly called as what? Lungs of planet Earth. As we have already discussed, this is called as a lungs of planet Earth. Now, almost in the Amazon rainforest also, the habitat has been destructed in such a way that almost we are cultivating, we have removed the forest plants and we are cultivating soybean in these areas. So humans have removed, cut down the forest trees and cultivating the soybean, and some of these lands are also converted into grasslands for grazing cattle. That means the Amazon rainforest has been cut down so that it has it can be used for the cultivation of the soybean plants, which forms a part of agricultural source, and some part is converted into grassland, and that grassland is used to graze the cattle. So look at this. Now if we are doing in such a way that if we cut down the forest, certain animals will be present there. Now almost if only few trees are cut down, it may not lead to that much of damage, but what has happened is we have removed thousands of hectares of land. Almost by the time we finish this chapter, we don't know how much biodiversity we lose it. Okay, that means the extinction is going at this faster rate. So that's why generally I will be telling you, conserve, preserve our biodiversity. So biodiversity is not only us, it should be used by our next generation also. It should be used by our future generation also. So that's why conserve the biodiversity for the future. Suppose if we overexploit it, if we use it like anything, then ultimately we are going to face everything. Okay, so not in the future, but in recent years only, around in 20 to 25 years only, we'll come to know the destruction rate, and we'll come to know the global impact on us, which you are going to study in the next chapter, which is called as environmental issues. Okay, now this is regarding the part of the Amazon rainforest, where we call it as a lungs of planet Earth. And remember, 20% of the oxygen is alone released in the globe by this Amazon rainforest. That's why it is a huge forest. Okay, and hence we can also call it as a mother of biodiversity also, Amazon rainforest. Okay, so this is the thing. Then habitat loss, as we said, cutting down the forest, the wildlife will be present there, their habitat is lost. Then what they will do? They will run away, they will move away, okay, in all the directions. This is what is called as a fragmentation. After fragmentation, if the animals move to other area, other habitats may be unsafe for those animals because of other wildlife might be there. Suppose in this area, if we have a population of deers, if we cut down the forest, where it has to run? It won't come to your homes, it won't come to our city. Then where it has to go? It has to enter into the next part of the forest. When it goes there, the population of the tiger might be more there. These tigers will attack and they will kill these deer population unnecessarily. As a result, there will be a decline in the number of species. Later on, these species will become endangered, and finally they may become extinct also. Okay, generally we have the leopard attacks, wild elephant attacks in the cities. Why? Because we are cutting down the forest where they have to move, so their habitat is lost. Then they have to undergo the process of fragmentation. They move away, they run away. Then what will happen by this process? Ultimately, what we are giving to the nature, nature gives back to the same. If you cut down the forest, wild animal will cut down you. So that is the simple logic which is happening now. This is a current event. So what we are talking about. Okay, so this is regarding the part of the habitat loss and fragmentation. And the majority of the birds, which we call them as migratory birds, some of the migratory bird species might be lost. They may not migrate towards these areas also, because we are destructing, okay, at a faster rate. So this is what is called as habitat loss and fragmentation. As a result, the habitat loss has to be prevented. This is the major cause for loss of biodiversity. Okay, then let's go to the next one. The second one is over exploitation. The second is over exploitation. As the name says, over exploitation is done by man. Over exploitation is done by humans. So what is this over exploitation? Over exploitation is nothing but making more use of the natural resource. Now, as a result, generally, I already informed you that in the previous sessions, man is first needy, later on he becomes greedy. Why? Due to the availability of the natural resource, he wants more money. He is not satisfied by what he has. He wants something. Okay, let him do, but let him not destroy or destruct the biodiversity in a larger scale. If it is in a minimum scale, then no problem, because we have to construct the roads, we have to construct the railways, and these we are cutting down the forest of the Western Ghats also. But if the loss is less, then it does not affect so much. But if the loss is major, then definitely it is going to affect the climatic conditions of the atmosphere. Okay, then over exploitation. So man is mainly responsible for over exploitation, for the construction of the buildings. What he wants, woods, timbers. So where he has to bring, he has to enter into the forest, cut down the forest, bring them. Okay, now suppose if you have one home, that's enough. But if you are greedy, you want second home, third home, fourth home, and you become commercial. As a result, you are cutting down the forest. So we are exploiting these resources, and majority of the even medicinal plants which are available in the nature, we exploit them. Okay, exploitation is different, over exploitation is different. So if we are using for the health benefit, it's good only. But if we are using them in large quantity for money making, for commercial purpose, then it is going to affect the species also, and those species which are present in the nature may become extinct one day. Okay, so this is what is called as a over exploitation. Over exploitation is by humans, and man-made causes we also call them as anthropogenic. Man-made causes are anthropogenic cause. Anthropology is a study of humans. So here man-made causes we call it as anthropogenic cause, and it is done by the humans. Now in the past 500 years we have lost a certain species of animals. So in the past 500 years, so we have already came to the extinction of first one is Stellar's sea cow and passenger pigeon. Look at this. Stellar's sea cow and passenger pigeon are hunted by man. As a result, they have become extinct now. Look at this. This is due to over exploitation. Then in the oceanic ecosystem, in the oceans, we are capturing a lot of fishes. Majorly we capture those fishes which are sold in the market. Okay, already you have studied about the fisheries in food production chapter. Now we are exploiting those fishes which are commercially marketed. Okay, as a result, if we are removing these fishes of a particular variety or a particular species, then it is causing a threat to those fishes which are present in a particular region. So that's why even certain aquatic fishes are also endangered by over exploitation. So this is regarding the part of over exploitation. This over exploitation is also responsible for the loss of biodiversity. Then with this we'll move on to the third one. The third one is alien species invasion. Now alien species invasion is nothing but the species which are brought from other areas or other countries. So third one is alien species invasions. So here alien species refers to the species which are non-native, which are brought from other parts of the world or other parts of our country also. They are non-native species. Now, alien species, generally we bring the alien species. Suppose if you go to the Western Ghats, whenever you see certain bryophytes, like as well as the pteridophytes like ferns, they have aesthetic value, they have nature's beauty, for their attraction of the leaves. Humans have a habitat to bring them to our locality, okay, for the purpose of gardening or any other decorative purposes. Now, if they do not harm our native species, it is well and good. And if they kill our native species, then that species or that plant or that organism will become alien species invasion. It becomes invasive. That means it is a killing our local native plants. Okay. Here we have certain examples that other species which are brought from other regions, they became invasive and they are causing harm to our local native species. Now here we have an example of a fish which is called as a Nile perch. Now this Nile perch, it is a fish which is brought and introduced into the Lake Victoria in East Africa. Introduced in Lake Victoria of East Africa. Now this Nile perch, it belongs to Congo, native of Congo. This is introduced in the Lake Victoria of East Africa. Then how it has become invasive? This Nile perch, it has become invasive because this fish has killed around 200 species of local cichlid fishes of this lake. So it has killed 200 cichlid fishes. Now look at the rate of extinction here. So almost it has faced the threat of 200 species of the cichlid fish in this lake have became extinct. Look at this. So 200 it is species of cichlid fish, they became extinct due to introduction of Nile perch, because that Nile perch is killing the local fishes. As a result, this becomes an invasive species which has killed many local species. Then along with that, this is an first example. If you take the second example is carrot grass, which is called as a Parthenium. Okay, already you know regarding the Parthenium. This Parthenium, it is a non-native of India, which is commonly called as a carrot grass, and it has caused an invasiveness in such a way that it has killed many lot species of our local plants. So carrot grass or Parthenium. Okay, in Kannada we also call it as a Congress plant. So as a result, this Parthenium has killed the local plants. Then one more is there, which is called as a Lantana. Its complete name is the Lantana camara. Now, this is a non-native of India, which generally grows in the hilly regions. Now, this plant is a shrub. Then it produces many tiny flowers with different colors like white color, orange color, pink color, red color. Okay, then it produces small black seeds. If you eat them, they are sweet in taste. Generally, it grows in the hilly regions. Okay, so Lantana camara, in Kannada it is called as a Chadurangada Gida. Okay, and here it has a black color, small fruits which are sweet in taste. Okay, now this Lantana plant, Lantana camara, it has killed many local native species of plants. So that's why it is an invasive. Look at this. First one is a Nile perch, second one is a Parthenium, also called as carrot grass, third one is a lantana camara, which has killed the local species. Then apart from these three, we have one more example where we call it as a water hyacinth. Water hyacinth, which is also called as Eichhornia. Now this water hyacinth, Eichhornia plant, it is commonly called as a terror of Bengal. Now this plant has been brought from Bengal region to other parts of our country because of its thick leaves and attractive flower. So almost it produces purple color flower. For the ornamental purpose, this has been brought and it is growing in rivers like anything. So it has caused a havoc problem in the aquatic ecosystem, also killing a lot of plant species as well as animal species in the aquatic water bodies. So that's why water hyacinth, Eichhornia, because of killing of these many species, it is called as a terror of Bengal. Then next one, the next organism which has caused the invasive, or we call it as alien species invasive, is regarding the introduction of African catfish called as the African catfish. This African catfish, this is called as a Clarius garipinus. African catfish called as a Clarius garipinus. Now this is a non-native and it has killed. So it has killed native, or we also call it as indigenous catfishes. Look at this part. Now look at the invasion. African catfish is brought to our aquatic ecosystem in India and it has killed our local native catfishes. So this becomes an invasive, and invasion of these, we call them as alien species because they are brought from other parts of the world or other parts of India to the neighboring areas. When they are brought to the newer areas, they become invasive, and when they become invasive, they kill lot of species and causing loss of biodiversity. So this is what is termed as a loss of biodiversity by alien species invasion. With this, let's go to the last part. The last part is regarding co-extinction. Last part is co-extinction. As the name says, co-extinction, extinction together, death together is a co-extinction. So here, extinction together is termed as a co-extinction. In the nature, majority of the organisms will be having a mutualistic behavior, and these mutualistic behavior or symbiotic behavior will lead to co-extinction. So here, mutualism or mutualistic behavior is mainly responsible for co-extinction. Now let us take an example of lichens. Lichen is an association, symbiotic association between algae and fungi. Algae provides food for fungi, fungi provides moisture for algae. Out of these two, if one die, other one will die. If algae dies, lichens will die, sorry, fungi will die. If fungi dies, algae will die, because they are interdependent. We call such organisms as mutualistic organisms or symbiotic organisms. When the symbiosis is total symbiosis, when one is dependent on the other, if one species gets extinct, the other species certainly gets extinct from this world, which is said to be co-extinction. And here we can take one more example. The second example is pollinators. Majority of the pollinators might be insects and even birds. So insects might be there, birds, bats. So different types of pollinators are there. But as far as a certain pollinators like a insect is concerned, suppose let us take an example of a fig and a wasp. Fig is a plant. You are going to study it in the later chapters. Now fig plant, fig flower is pollinated by a wasp. Suppose if the wasp dies, the fig flower is not pollinated. As a result, if there is no pollination, there is no production of the seed. If there is no seed, there is no continuation of the next generation. Suppose if the flower fig plant dies, then there is death of these wasp. Suppose if the wasp dies, there is death or extinction of these plants. That means this is what is called as a co-extinction, extinction together, death together. Initially, if one species die, we don't say that a species is extinct. We say that organism is extinct. But suppose if that total race dies, then we say the species is extinct. For example, let us take the human beings only. If we die, what others will tell? That person has died. Do we say that species has died or that species has extinct? No, because the other same species is present, still present. And here we are talking about the extinction. That means one species, death of one species will lead to death of another species in such a way that if the process goes on continuing in the nature, it leads to extinction of both the species, and it is the major cause for loss of biodiversity. So this is regarding the four major causes for loss of biodiversity, which is the major part of biodiversity and conservation, and it is a major question which will be asked for a 5-mark level. So for the theory, and the examples are most important here, which we have quoted here. Each one example will be asked for an objective part. Okay, so this is the loss of biodiversity, and the next part is regarding conservation of the biodiversity. So if we are losing the biodiversity in this rate, how to conserve it, how to save it? Okay, think of it. We'll continue it. Thank you.